lives about. Alright, so I'm gonna make this shit short. Alright, so New Year's in my eyes, cause I be on some 369 stuff on universal time. I don't go by the Gregorian calendar, so I'm on my time. So when you're on my channel, we on universal time. So peep game. This year, 2023, April 1st was actually New Year's. So that being said, March will be June, right? So as June goes into Cancer, that will be this year's springtime beginning. I mean, they say spring is now, but they're just trying to paint a picture. Because in reality, if y'all niggas been outside and felt that sunbeam hit your skin just in one spot for like 5 minutes, even if it was cold, you realize it's been hot this whole time. And the manipulation of Sub-Zero technology, because the Sub-Zero is only a zero to eliminate the charge. The zero, that's the carbon emissions. Bill Gates was talking about keeping the carbon emissions down. That is Sub-Zero technology, right? Because the V2 charge stood for the atoms getting a charge, two charges by ether. So as it was, as cellular subdivision is going on, that means one atom was turning into three under the sun, or is dying out by three under the sun. So the thing is that Trinity actually makes a four. It makes some call a tetracovalent bond, which is supposed to create light inside of your body. But if it's not, then it's is lysis. That's where you get uh, paralysis from. Para is the prefix, lysis is the suffix. Lysis in medical means pathological blood destruction. So to keep your frequency, if you don't want your blood cells dying out, which they tell you they do every day, that's not supposed to be happening in reality. If you look at, if you just look at out nature, the trees would forever grow if they didn't try to create fall. The only reason fall happens is because the chemtrails they spray. Something called Project Orange. Is the military doing this the whole time. They've been doing this. So it's a World War II strategy, right? But they're using it on the people because it's always been war on the people, right? It's always been war. Don't fuck what they said, bro. I mean, they created a story. You went with it like a dickhead, and that's all. We have to accept it and move on. All right? That's what happened in history. Because you have to realize they're all family. They're all family that were created from eugenics, and they're pretty much like AIs running the world. Now, they have AIs, and they're set in a place because them motherfuckers are left or went somewhere else. You feel me? To another environment. They're pretty much outside of the ice walls. Down there. So that being said, this little shit they be telling us, the Gregorian calendar deals with the Gregori, the Draconians. So we're talking about time. June going into Cancer is going to be springtime starting, right? We're inside of a Lionsgate portal pretty much till May 19th, right? So during this whole time, the energy is going to be rising and rising and rising and rising and rising and rising, right? Because the thing about the lunar eclipse, I don't think it was set in time to manipulate it. So that means the 6 is actually going to keep rising, and that's going to run into July 27th, really June, right? So that means there's probably going to be some storms on the way. Just the fact that it's getting, I know it's going to be storms because these big ass clouds, they're going to a whole nother state or a whole nother region so they can plot what they're doing. Because it's sunspots that hit all, it hits sacred degrees because in the circle it creates sacred geometry. So when it hits these different degrees around the 360 around the globe, is hitting with different hertz. So the way they try to do it is to block it with the chemtrails, because then that manipulates the atom and eliminates the charge before the energy falls. But the thing is, they can't really stop all of it, but majority they do because they know people's going to be outside. That's the main point. Because if they can eliminate it in the air, then they can eliminate it from you, type shit. And that's when you get the coughing or feeling like you're sick, because you only get sick when your immune system is getting attacked, right? And when the hemoglobin is trying to transport these proteins to your respiratory system, it could pick up on whatever that got trapped into your mucus through your airways, right? That's why your throat chakra is very powerful, because you can clear out these airways all through your body through breath work. That's what the breath work is about, because it can unlock the fire in you. It can create heat, and what does the heat do? Kill out bacteria. Feel me? It can also help rebuild your cells. Like, this is the thing about mental health. Like, the thing about you being in a balance in the mental, you can actually repair your cells by just not worrying about shit. But the thing is, everyone's gonna worry about shit when you're in this fucking world. That's why you have to use your imagination to clear out your attachments. It's different than being saying, I'm not gonna give a fuck about this no more. Like, you have to use your imagination to delete it, like a phone app on your phone. It's pretty much like dragging it in the trash and it's gone forever. You have to imagine that moment, that feeling, or what made you feel that way, the imagery that you got that was attached uh to that emotion, because that's the triggers that's within you, because you may not think about it right no more, but it's attached to imagery. That's when your imagination is powerful, because once you can clear that, now you can tap into your clairvoyance even more. Feel me? It will become more of a knowing thing and not of a guessing thing. You feel me? Because of this 3 months with 4 alternates and 2 parallels. It's not always saying it's 2 parallels, because them 2 parallels have 2, 3, and 4. It has a big 9 within itself too. Right? So that comes to say June. June this year in reality will be September, but June on the Gregorian calendar will actually be the month of spring, which is being the 3 from the 12, but the 6 happens during the 9. Oh shit. That would be the 3, damn. Yeah, the 36 and the 96 from the 369 3. Yeah, the 36 would be that is March, and the year of the sixth. I mean, the month of the sixth, which is the air and the water, Gemini and Cancer. But the sixth, which is June, will actually be the nine. The month of the nine is going to be the sixth. So the 12, which is December, is going to be the nine, the rebirth of Christ. So what I'm kind of seeing or saying right now, it's a line for the shit that happened this year. It's just whatever they said in April will be in July, around the time they're doing the Fed Now shit. Because that's also going to deal with a frequency to even switch it. Because that ties to a satellite that they're going to be using to even make it work. It's just, it might be more of a grounded satellite because all of their above satellites is about to get wiped out. But that being said, if there's a charge that's wiping it out above, then that charge is going to hit below and it's going to spark. Like before they interrupted the 6, they interrupted 5D and 6D. It's just the 6D was on the right side of Greenwich line, which is dealing with like India and all of them. The whole area eugenics happened because we were all on them lands even more, but eugenics happened. So like, so that's still a 6. So uh April 23rd this year will actually be July 23rd, 2023. Okay. So I'm gonna say you have time, you have energy. Use your energy wisely though, because it's energy hitting you, but that's your energy. So use the energy outside of you wisely, because it could destroy you or rebirth a whole new nigga. Right? You can up your frequency right now, even into a higher frequency. And once you start doing that, the reflections will show you how big your aura is really getting. Like dealing with infrared light, because when you can't see infrared light, the thing about your third eye is it takes it in. You have different eyes all over your body. You got one right here, your hands, the bottom of your feet, palms, your elbows, your knees. Like all of these jumps interfere with infrared light, like soft spots and shit. For me, it's just you can't see it right now because of the matrix that they built up. Just pretty much seeing reflections, but you're not fully seeing the color. And like you'll start to see like a lot of things have auras around them. Like a lot of people can say I peep your aura, but then if you ask them, well, can you see the color? What color is it? Like, like It might make up some shit just off of the emotion. But that's really not making it up, dog. That's just also peeping a reflection. But I'm just saying, certain people be on that shit, some people don't. But you can actually tell somebody aura by knowing the frequency you feeling. Feel me? Because it all deals with the rainbow spectrum. So if you can understand the feelings and emotions that are attached in a man-made way that are attached, then you could peep that person aura and maybe be able to help them out if they're open to listening and not going against it. Because it's all frequencies, reflections of you. But it's just your magnetism is getting is getting stronger. So it's imperative to get back into your heart space so you can see things without choosing sides. You see it as reality for what it is and what it's not. Feel me? It's like stories. You can hear one person's story, hear the other person's story. They might both be saying the same thing, or they might be just two separate stories, but something is being hidden. That's when you become the three. Seeing what you did, seeing what they did, and seeing what even made it like that. That's like being in the Christ energy, being at three. That's turning the two into a three. Because the three is the one in the middle listening to both people. It's like the therapist. Yeah, the three is like the therapist. Listen to one person, listen to A, and listen to B. But when that therapist is honest and truthful, he's gonna or she's gonna be able to see what made this like that and made that like that because it's gonna be common sense. It's just motherfuckers don't use common sense because they be stuck in a lie. So when you stuck in a lie, lying to yourself and to that person, because once you start keep lying to yourself, you realize you just mad over some bullshit. You not even mad. Like you just mad. That's why you shouldn't lie to yourself. Because really, lying is supposed to be used for manifestation. It's not supposed to a lie to like lie to somebody because now you're not in your truth no more. That's the energy you have to be in, your truth. Like, not saying you just gotta just say shit. I'm saying like you shouldn't feel like you have to lie about some shit to get your way or for something to happen. Cause all that do is bring back karma. Cause that's like if your brain thinks that now, you think that's the normal way. Now you're attracting what you want because you're literally in your own body. Like these atoms that's floating around other people is still attached to you and your nervous system. So that's how we're interconnected because these atoms, bro. Like we are interconnected because we're not the flesh. We only look different because of the flesh. When it comes to the energy controlling the flesh, the soul, that's the connection. The thing about the body, though, it's made to do some amazing shit. It's just, you can't go against it no more. Because as A and B comes together above, A and B is coming together below. And when it's doing that, that means your brain is trying to come together too, spirit and soul. So if you're like still stuck in a box, like, and just worried about the wrong shit that don't serve you. It just have you feeling the same fucking way all over again. Like, like a lot of people stop smoking weed just because they was feeling like that. But really, it's not even the weed. It's the anxiety within you. Because if you have anxiety already, when you smoke weed, it's going to boost your anxiety because the weed actually reproduce cells 3 to 1. I mean 1 to 3, just like the sun does. That's why it's a star plant. You feel me? Because it operates like the sun. That's when you get into a higher state because it reproduces your cells. The only reason those cells die out is because the mental and the physical, the perspective of the mental or the spirit and the physical, because that's what is attached to your nervous system. So the weed really is not a bad thing. It even opens up sinuses and shit. So definitely is not a bad thing. It's just like drugs and shit. It's like chemtrails. Like like I'm just saying, bro. Like weed just helps duplicate the cells. That's why you get high. If you was not to smoke weed and say you were like fasting or something, and then a CME hits and you hear this ringing in your ear, your vision is going to go high definition even if you didn't smoke no weed because your cells are reproducing as that energy hits. That's what they don't want to happen because you can literally turn yourself into a light body being. Like I did it before, bro. Like 2021, especially going to 2022. It was people riding down the street looking at me and they were pretty much stopping in the middle of the fucking highway down there or slowing down because they couldn't see. But then I'm looking at everybody looking at me all weird. And I'm like, why y'all driving so slow? And I'm looking at my hands through the mirror and just looking, and then you could see an aura coming off. You feel me? Like, but I was eating straight fruit. Feel me? This is how I know certain niggas really don't be eating straight fruit. This is the thing. You can never. Y'all be lying like hell. It's okay though. Just stay down because before I even knew anything like what it really does, I had to see it for myself first. And I was around people telling me I can't do that. I was around people telling me it would be totally unhealthy for you. I was around people who just, I would tell I don't want to eat no meat, and I'm actually staying down to it 3 months later, and they're still trying to offer me meat. Like, that's when it came to like, are you not listening or are you trying me right now? Because if you see me not eating that shit and you're still asking me, it's like you're trying me. You feel me? But I stayed down and I debunked everything anyone ever said. So it's like a lot of people is, especially a lot of older people, are scared to do it because they're worried about the sugar. But the fructose, I mean, the sugar that's in fruits and shit actually gets rid of. It actually ties to the God gene. So when you look up something called God gene in medical, it's gonna pop up something about a sugar cell, right? These fruits have amino acids. The amino acids is how you repair your DNA by intaking a lot of amino acids and antioxidants, natural ones, not man-made shit. Saying natural shit. You want to do it naturally because you're in a natural. There's a natural event damn near going on right now. naturally. You feel me? So you supposed to progress with it, not go against it. Every time you go against it, you're gonna feel weaker. This is this is the cheat code. You shouldn't be feeling weak from something that heals you. If you're starting to feel weak from something that heals you, then that means you need to clean your body out, or you're not sweating enough. Because the sweating is helps the air in your body, and we are dealing with the air in your body is dealing with them atoms again, right? Because what is sweating in a human? Homeostasis. It helps you breathe, right? It helps you breathe in the climate that you're in. So like, if you gonna keep doing the fuck shit, just know you gotta just sweat more, drink, eat more fruit on top of it, and that yeah, work out. You gotta keep the blood moving, cause all that shit is made to build sodium channels. It's just I don't fully advise it. It's just like, especially like a lot of fast food places and stuff. Cause just notice once you eat it, you're gonna have mucus build up. Say you don't have no mucus, then you go eat that shit, and then just peep your sinuses. Then you gonna blame it on pollen and shit. But whole time, it's something that you're eating allergic to your that's giving allergies to your respiratory system, because when your hemoglobin is trying to transport those proteins and is not transporting amino acids, which actually turns into proteins, like amino acids, like you get on a lot of fruits, that's real protein. Like it turns into protein. So if you was trying to eat a lot of meat to bulk up, yeah, you could bulk up, but that's a lot of sarcolactic acid. You could really build more muscle faster and leaner, like on some Piccolo type shit, or like some Goku type shit on the right diet. Because if anything, when you eat too much what is not of you, that's why your cells begin to die out. So like a lot of people with fast metabolism sometimes it's not that you're not gaining meat. I mean gaining weight fully from the meat. It's just not picking up the proteins it need off of that meat in reality. So yeah, your metabolism burning it off, but really it's the cells beginning to die out, because when your cells aren't dying out too much, you can literally just do like 10 push-ups and it'll look like you've been working out all day. Like you can go scrawny to like swole nigga. And if you kept being consistent, you'll just be a big ass nigga. Like that's like me. If I was being consistent with it, I'd be swole and I barely eat. Not saying that I barely eat, like I eat. It's just I feed myself more minerals, because the only thing your body is asking for when you're hungry is minerals. So that's when it ties back to you get hungry and you eat some like a burger or something. Now you hungry again. Now you eat some pizza. Now you hungry. Now you get some snacks. You get something to drink. The whole time you like, damn, I'm just hungry and hungry. Cause your body didn't get what the fuck it needed the whole time you were eating. So you just kept eating shit cause it tastes good to your senses. Feel me? Because all these artificial shits or natural stuff is still tied to a natural flavor that's tied to your DNA. So it's going to pick up something like, ooh, this is busting. So like that's why they try to match it. So like plus the drugs. It really be the drugs, and it's like when you don't have drugs no more. Now what do you want? You want more drugs. So like it ties back to the same shit. It's just I can get swole by like just eating right and being outside. Like if I was to eat meat, meat actually makes me skinnier compared to fruit. Like like fruits and vegetables and beans and shit like that. Like I'm better off just eating that period. Like I'm I don't even be pressed about meat and all that shit no more. Like and if I do eat it, it wouldn't be like a large portion because of where I'm at right now. But at the same time, it just be like ain't no point. You feel me? Because I seen how my mind operate, and I've done enough experiments since then to see if I'm tripping on that. Cause I like to see it myself before I go tell somebody else about some shit. And if I don't know, then I'm probably gonna say maybe. Take my word from what I'm saying. But that's really what it be. So like if your magnetism is getting stronger, that means you can get shit done faster. Or shit can get destroyed faster, right? It's all up to you at this point. Right? I'm trying to show you this whole little 369 thing that they were talking about and manipulating and shit, nigga, that's you. Just like these cycles and alignments tying right back down to you. That's from above, coming below. We're like them little stars all in the universe. As another perspective. But I'm about to tell y'all, bro, June gonna be hot. But I don't think it's gonna be cold this year. It wasn't really cold the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, you'll catch them times at nighttime, but that's only because of a wind chill blow coming from another area that they already froze up. That's like that's like if they froze half of the United States, we would feel all that wind chill on the east side of the United States. If they was to freeze the west, and that's pretty much what they've been doing. Plus Canada, you feel me? So when that wind chill comes, that's what we feel. But in reality, if you feeling that sun, and when there's no clouds around, you see how I really feel. That's the UVC. Okay, the UVC. You see the temperature they say, and subtract uh how it really feels. Like say it says 48 degrees, but it said it feels like 68 degrees. You subtract 48 from 68, now you got your UVC radiation. That's how much is hitting the planet. But the thing you have to remember is UVC wasn't hitting the planet when it had a magnetic field, meaning that it's not supposed to hit the planet if you let them say that. So this beam that's hitting you is making cellular subdivision. If you use it for the benefit of you, you're going to activate some shit within you. The elements, like Avatar. This is not a joke. This is science. If you go against it, you're pretty much going to die. The other thing about it is the definition of variant is actually the Ninth Templar secret. But the thing is a shift happens or nothing doesn't happen at all. 2017 is when this shit started. So the 7 years of tribulation ends 2024. Because the seven trumpets is pretty much being aligned right now. And they're definitely about to send off a big bang. So when I was saying April 23, it could be 9 days later. It could. And I was thinking that because of Starlink. But if nothing happens, I guarantee July 23rd for shit show. Because if I'm only saying that is because if they said it was supposed to be April 23rd and that was the date, Gregorian calendar, you gotta add 9 days and subtract 9 years. Well, I mean, subtract 9 days and I think 9 years. So, that being said, it could happen in May, around tomorrow to May 8th. Or if you're going with universe time, dealing with those months that they used, it will happen in July 23rd, 2023. Around the time they're doing a lot of such stuff and around the next Lion Gate portal. Right? Which will be in the months of now. Well, supposed to be now. Yeah, I know, too much. Might